Hey everyone, Julian here. Today I'm going to be showing you how Fred again and Skrillex made Rumble. To go along with this video, you can grab this full project file, samples, MIDI, presets, everything that you heard from this video is available at the top of the description on my website. This is the best recreation I've seen, so definitely go ahead and grab it. Links at the top of the description. It'll help you take your tracks to the next level instantly, I promise. Thanks so much for the support, everybody, and let's dive in. Alright, so we're at 140 BPM, pretty classic dubstep tempo, and it actually starts with the drums. So the main groove is made up, really, it's this kick with the rim shot. Right, very simple at its core, it's just this really fat kick. And I've got a little drum bus on it, you can see it's hitting pretty hard, but then I only have it at 39%. So it's just adding a little bit more punch to it. We've got the rim shot is just dry. I've just kind of made it a little bit shorter. And I high passed it too, so it doesn't get in the way of the bass. And then we have some layers to that. So then we have like this little rim shot here. Right, it's got that little roll in there with the velocity. And then when you layer that with the snare, you kind of get like a pitch. Right, you can hear they layer together nicely. And then the other thing that's happening here is then we have these kind of like accent snares. Like we have this one with the reverb, and then also then the tambourine comes. So there's a bit of call and response happening where it's like, see, you get the one that's dry and then the one with a bunch of reverb, like the call and then the response. And then even the same thing happening here with the tambourine. Right, and then you can hear this all grooves really nicely with the kick. Okay, so then we've got the hi-hats. So they're actually very simple, but there is some cool magic going on. This is obviously a very simple track. So it starts with this trap hi-hat. Right, it's like just a nice classic trap pattern. You can see it just goes like that with the roll at the start, straight eighth notes, and then these little notes matching the kick there at the end. You know, very simple, just nice classic trap hi-hat. And then what we're doing is I've got this pushed over with the track delay over here. So it kind of makes it groove a little better on the drums. Like if I put it, it's like slightly after. If I put it back to normal. See, it's not quite as groovy when you just have it right on the beat. And I noticed they're doing that in the track when I was analyzing it. So we've got that, but then there's also this little shaker. Right, so if you listen to that with the hi-hat. Right, so what's happening with this is it's just a simple shaker. It's being high-passed. It's like, you can see I'm just looping that one quickly, so you get like a very rigid pattern. And then there's the utility with a volume automation, just bringing this in. Right, so it kind of builds some tension in the whole track, where it's like building up. And yeah, that's really it for the drums. Like I said, you know, pretty simple drums in this track. You know, and that's another thing, like, a lot of people are talking about, oh, this track is mixed very well, and it is mixed quite well, but the truth is, I think it's just the elements going on. It's like, if you have this really simple drum section, there's not really much mixing to do. It's just kind of all fitting together really well already, and then you combine that with the basses, which are not really clashing with it. You know, it's pretty simple track, and I think that's really why all this stuff is so powerful, even for being so simple. But yeah, then we got the basses. So with this, you can hear there's a lot of call and response, right? We have the call, the whoop, and the is the response. So starting with that first bass, all of these are made with FM. I'm pretty sure it's like a lot of FM synthesis for these basses in this track. So what we're doing here is we got operator. I'll just turn off all the effects so you can hear what it sounds like, and then we'll go one by one. So we got this patch here where it's actually pretty simple FM with sine waves, right? We just got this other one here, an octave up, and we got some detuning happening, so it gets really like whoop, kind of like warbly. But really where the magic happens is with the envelope. I'd spent a lot of time dialing in the attack and the decay on this to really make it hit like whoop properly with the beat. And then there's also a low pass filter with that same envelope. So then we have, and there's also pretty high resonance as well. If I bring that down, see, it gets less of the whoop. You really want that resonance. We got a bit of amp, like literally just 4%, but it adds a bit of fatness, bit of chorus, some drum bus, which really fattens it up. And then we're actually just cutting a little bit of room at 100 hertz to make room for the kick, since those play together. Then we've got the main bass. Now, this is made with 3 layers. So we've got our main sub, which is actually a very simple patch. It's just a sine wave, right? And then we just have an LFO here, which is actually not doing anything. It's just turned on. But yeah, so we've just got that sine wave. The 16th note volume thing you're hearing is happening on the group, so we'll talk about that later, but it's literally just 1 note sine wave, very simple bass. If I turn off all those master effects, it just sounds like this. Right? It's a very simple. Then we got this one. I'll turn off all the master effects on that too. So what this one's doing is, this is kind of like adding that mid-range, because this is cool, right? But see, there's that like kind of boxy low mid-range that's happening. So we have this. And yeah, so this is the patch. It's just 2 sine waves doing some FM, an octave apart. Excuse me, second one is a triangle wave. And then we have a low pass filter with an LFO on that, doing the 16th notes, saw down. We got a bit of overdrive and drum bus, so here's what that does. Overdrive really brings out the, and the drum bus makes it even fatter, and then we're just high passing it so it'll fit with that. Then we've got the high bass, which sounds like that. Obviously when you turn all the effects on, that's what you get. But yeah, so this is the original patch, and I'll actually turn off all the effects too and just show you what we're working with. So this one's operator as well. What we're doing here is we've got this. It's actually this very simple patch with 2 sine waves, but what's creating the screech is the fact that this is so many octaves up there. Right? We have that up really high, but you're still getting that fundamental harmonic since it's FM synthesis. And this is the secret to these sounds. This is why I knew it was FM, is because that's how you get these, where it's still somehow low and high at the same time. It's not just like a high up sine wave, right? So we got that. It's also detuned a little to kind of give it some like edge. We've got a bit of a high pass on that. You know, pretty simple. Then there's this low pass which automates up. You can see it right there. It just goes over the course of 2 bars. It's just like a slight opening to kind of make it evolve, just like that shaker. We got some chorus. Give it some stereo width. A little bit of erosion, which you can hear makes it a bit crunchier and a bit more just like full. And then we have this shifter. So this is for the pitch bending. So yeah, it's just like this subtle bend with the fine tune. I just have it going all the way down. We have the window down. This is very important. If you don't have that, it like delays it. You want to just bring that all the way down. So we got that, right? Just doing that pitch bend, then a high pass, and then a little high end boost as well. Just bring that out a little bit more. And yeah, so then when you put them all together, you get this. And then we have a few more effects on the group. So we have this drum bus, first of all. Just a little extra push. And it also really glues these as well. Then we have this shifter here, as well as this echo. And if you look at the automations on these, it's at the end. It's just to do those pitch bends you hear on the whole group. Because, yeah, I was noticing that in the track. Like, there's the pitch bend on that main one, and then at the end of the bar, the whole thing gets the pitch bend. So what we're doing is we got the shifter just doing this automation down with the fine tune. And then I'm actually doing a tape stop with the echo where you automate the dry wet to come on. Right? Just when you want it to bend, and then you bend this, the left and right. And if you turn off the filter, you get a nice pitch bend. It's a great way to make it just go all the way down. So then we have the shapers. So there's two of these just to kind of make it a little bit tighter. Like here's just with one. And then with two. And when I was referencing this, I noticed it sounded a lot closer with two. So what's happening here is we want a little bit of volume shaping, but we want to like be able to really control it. So with shaper, we can set this to be this nice kind of like LFO here, where it goes like that, right? And then what's happening is it's doing 16th notes, and I have it set to a utility on the gain. And there you go. It's like you have this controllable volume thing where you can actually set this however you want, because you can set it like that, you know, you could stretch out, but it's a really nice way to be able to control these. So we got that, and then yeah, the second one, it's literally just the same thing. I duplicated it. And there you go. That is how you make that bass. Now, I want to say also, you know, I didn't really see their project file. I'm sure they're using a ton of different plugins and stuff. But you can see, this is like, if you follow this method, you can get something like this, and you can do a lot with this. So then, the last thing we have here are just these kind of like background sounds. So first, it's this little like, you know, melodic thing that hits. It's a good example of what I was talking about when I said, like, you know, this track, of course, it sounds like it's mixed very well, but it really has to do with just, like, where everything's sitting in the frequency spectrum. It's like, you have the basses, that's one thing, very low. You have the drums, that's kind of like the mid-range, and then this is up in the high end. And it's all going to fit really well if you think about it like that. So this is 2 layers. They're just playing C sharp, the same note the basses were playing. It starts with this operator. So this is actually just a simple FM with 2 sine waves. I've got the second one down an octave, so that's what kind of gives it that like overtone. We've got a little bit of a low pass, and then just a bunch of reverb, and then this one, it's this vocal here that I just have pitched down. Right, we got that. It's got a little low pass, and then some reverb. We can also throw a little high pass on this. And yeah, you can see those 2 layer together. Kind of create like this one melodic thing. And then we have this little backspin. Right? It's just this moment where everything cuts out right here. There's also a bit of automation on the pitch with the bass, you'll notice. Like you see, this happens a little bit sooner with that echo. And see, if you have this pitch into the backspin, see how you get kind of like a more cohesive thing? And then it just turns off in volume there. So it's kind of like making everything disappear and then throwing that sample in there, and it creates this really cool effect in the track. And yeah. So that's me for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this full project file, samples, MIDI, presets. The whole template is available at the top of the description on my website. Definitely don't miss out, guys. It's a great template. It'll really help you get where you're trying to get in this new year. I promise, guys, if you grab this, you'll make the best track of your life today. It also really helps support me. I don't make a whole lot of YouTube, but I put a lot of time into studying tracks like this. So now we go ahead and grab this. Help support your boy and support yourself making your best music. Thanks, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.